Imagine. Imagine defending, but not only defending, simping for a video game that gets at best a few hundred concurrent players a day. Imagine straight up hating on a YouTuber simply trying to give constructive criticism to Square Enix on one of the most important superheroes in the Marvel franchise, as well as the Avengers game roadmap itself. What's going on, everybody? Cryptix, and I'm simply going to be following up on my video, and my most successful video, mind you, of Spider-Man in the Avengers game is a joke. Okay, so like I said before, it was one of my most successful videos on the channel, and I just want to say, man, thank you all so much for the support on that video. I think it's at or above 50,000 views, over 1,200 likes, and yeah, there were some haters, and we're going to address some of those hateful comments in this video, alright? Let's just get into it, man. So, Marvel's Avengers game is actually going to have Spider-Man releasing in less than 24 hours, and there were a couple of things I just simply need to address. So, the first big point that a lot of people made, which is pretty valid, is I shouldn't be comparing Insomniac's Spider-Man to the Spider-Man in the Marvel Avengers game. If I'm setting that expectation, then I am setting, this game up and Spider-Man up in the Marvel's Avengers game for failure. And in reality, the point that I was trying to get at was Insomniac's Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man game of all time. I think we can safely agree with that. Yeah, there were some OG Spider-Man games back in the day, and they probably set up, Insomniac for one of the best Spider-Man games, right? I mean, there's so many other older ones like Web of Shadows, things like that. But Insomniac's Spider-Man is the golden goose, right? I don't think anyone's going to replicate the golden goose, but Square Enix, the developers of the Marvel Avengers game, should at least strive for it in some certain way. Whether that's, incorporating smooth web swinging mechanics or smooth combat mechanics. And this Square Enix Avengers game doesn't have any of that. And another thing that I didn't do correctly, which is a quick follow-up on the previous point, was I didn't really showcase the other animations. I only made a joke and straight up roasted Spider-Man with the web shooting animations and mechanics. And even though the web shooting, the ranged attack for Spider-Man in this game is just a joke, right? It looks like the dude's holding dishes. I mean, there are other animations that are, if not worse, the same in terms of lackluster game mechanics. The animations are not smooth at all. Whether it's the punching, the web swinging, the specialty web bomb attack. You'll be able to see all of that footage on the screen for the next, 30 seconds or so. But in reality, the smoothness is not there. And before you say, oh, well, it's a Marvel Avengers game, there's so many different superheroes, how do you expect them to get smooth animations? Well, you're seeing other gameplay, or maybe you will, of Iron Man in the Avengers game that I've, just made up myself. I was able to play for like 20, 30 minutes, and the gameplay for Iron Man and Thor and Captain America is so much more smooth in terms of combat. The Spider-Man combat that we are seeing is not great at all. And if they plan to release this in the next 12 hours, it's going to be a straight up disaster. And one of the other points that I was hearing was, this is an early build of Spider-Man, and IGN was able to play this early build and release the footage. Now, there's two things to this, right? First of all, if I am Square Enix, and I know the position that I'm in right now in terms of the Avengers game being a failure, I wouldn't give any Game Informer, game YouTube channel, any type of footage or any type of, demo for Spider-Man unless it was the last solid build that I'm releasing on November 30th. Because if I'm Square Enix, I want to give everybody a good impression of the Spider-Man, incorporated character. I want people to come back. I want people to play this Spider-Man character with the final build, quote unquote. But, apparently people are saying that this is an early build of Spider-Man, and we've heard this time and time again from other developers. I think the most recent one is Battlefield 2042. everyone was defending the beta, saying it was an early build, an early version of the game, and then we get Battlefield 2042 and it's not smooth at all. So I think the, oh, it's an early build excuse is an excuse and nothing more than that. The other thing is that, you know, the early build, I guess, portion of this, there is absolutely no reason at all to be IGN and to not even get access to the final build, right? Because if you're IGN, you're the one of the top, I guess, in terms of, you know, foot traffic, not to say that they are reputable at all, because they're not. But if I'm the top, you know, dog in terms of, you know, gaming and, you know, showcasing, I guess, videos and things like that of different games, I would be getting the final build, right? That's just how it works. So there's like a two-pronged approach to that thing, and I just think it's an excuse, and that's pretty much it. I think the early build, you know, thing is going to be a commonality with a lot of these developers releasing games nowadays, because we've seen it with EA, we've seen it with 2K, we've seen it with Square Enix, and it's just kind of like laughable at this point. The last final point that I do want to make here is that, no, I'm not going to like boycott Square Enix. I'm not going to, you know, say, oh, I'm not going to play Spider-Man in the Avengers game. But the biggest gripe that I have here, and this is kind of new news, is that Spider-Man is not getting any storyline with the character incorporation coming to the Marvel Avengers game, which is one of the biggest slaps in the face to the fans, right? Not only are we going to be fighting the same exact enemies, the same exact characters, and, you know, whatever types of units they throw out against us, it's going to be the AIM, you know, enemies. There's not going to be any type of storyline in terms of a Dr. Octopus, in terms of a Venom. There's not going to be any villain that Spider-Man can go up against. And Spider-Man has one of the highest numbers in terms of enemy count. I mean, he's got like the Sinister Six. He's got Venom. He's got Kraven the Hunter. He's got so many villains to fight, and the fact that they're not even giving us one of those is laughable to me. This is going to be an utter disaster for Square Enix at launch. Have fun playing as Spider-Man, I guess, with non-polished, unsmooth animations, fighting the same AIM characters that everyone's been fighting for over a year. This is either going to evolve into something great, or it's going to be the same old with Square Enix and this game. And it's kind of unfortunate too, because I actually got the Guardians of the Galaxy game on sale, which is made by Square Enix, and it's a linear storyline, and it's actually pretty damn good so far. I'm having a lot of fun playing that game. It's just like one of those types of things where there was so much potential, and we know Square Enix can pull it off, but for this specific game, Marvel's Avengers game, they just missed the mark 100%. It is really disappointing, man. So those are the counter arguments that I do have. Insomniac Spider-Man is obviously the top dog, but Square Enix should have at least taken a couple of things from the playbook. You know what I'm saying? They should have polished the animations. They should have made them more smooth. It's not going to feel like Spider-Man when this game, or I guess this character, comes out on November 30th. So I hope you all did enjoy this video. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, comment down below what you think about Spider-Man coming to the Marvel Avengers game. Maybe by the time that you're watching this video, you know, you've already played it and you're either disappointed or you're satisfied. That's basically what you gotta say, but I want to know the reasons why down in the comment section below. I'm Cryptix. Definitely not happy about not getting to fight Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man Avengers game. And signing off.